Good evening, and welcome to the 2012fat.com. I'll be your host for the evening. My name is Charlie Bluehawk. Last night, we talked about the letter. I yet again wrote a letter to a fellow by the name of Ryan, a man who believes that the planetary flip will be happening next month, March 8th, 2011, according to him. And naturally enough, he was very upset, and he was trying to figure out a way to save himself and his wife. He didn't provide us with any kind of information on why he would say this, and we haven't heard from him again, so I'm assuming this was just a CIA operative, a low-level thug, simply trying to get information about us, which is hysterical since everybody knows where we are, who we are, what we're doing. But the paranoia, the obsession the masters and their servants have for anyone who actually, thinks, is beyond our imagination. And considering that most of them are in their underground cities now, you wonder why they even still care. Perhaps they're still trying to keep their Mandarin class believing that they're going to join them in the underground cities. Well, that's going to be fun to watch, if nothing else. Anyway, you can read my letter to Ryan on our website. Again, I do not think it's appropriate to read someone else's mail on air, but his comment should still be up on our website someplace. Kenneth handles all that stuff. There's only so much I can do, frankly, and just talking to you folks and blogging and social networking and making videos, and I'm pretty much done in. That's my 20-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week thing. And Lord, I could use a woman and a nap. Not necessarily in that order. Anyway, tonight I thought we would chat about a very personal experience that just ended for me that actually has a lot of relevance to why I'm here in Europe and to what you and I talk about on on a daily basis. It's a 30-year quest of mine that ended in the only way that, frankly, it could have ended, in horror. And then in joy, because now I'm truly free. I share it with you tonight in order that I can explain how the village will have to be staffed and why. Please, I don't want your sympathy. I don't want your understanding. I just want to use this as an example. So, trying to think how to say this. I'm sure I've told you about an old witch I know. And to this day, I don't know her real name. I've known her since I was a small child. I just call her Alice, as in Alice in Wonderland, mostly because I know it annoys the hell out of her, and because she's not one of my favorite people. It's true, she's been looking out for me since I was 12 years old, but I don't like her. She's just mean. She probably has good intentions, and I know a lot of the things she's done for me have been good for me, but terribly painful, as in sending me to Europe. Well, this old witch, and she is truly a witch. I mean, she was 1,000 years old when I was a kid, so yeah. She can do things and show me things, and it's quite astonishing, so she's an old witch to me. She convinced me to come to Europe, while my plans at the time were to go to South America to look for work. I had not had a real job since I had left Nashville, Tennessee in 2007 to go to New Zealand, where I had been lied to for 6 years about how they were forward-thinking and looking for high-end professionals and welcoming and friendly, and of course none of that was at all true. It was a place where social engineering, mind control, has been taken to such extremes that it's really quite impressive. It's also terribly sick and ill. Just to put this into context for you, some background information on me. All of my life I have suffered from two terrible maladies. The first one was the belief that people were basically good. Left to their own devices, people would select kindness over cruelty. They would select good over evil. They would select compassion over cruelty. In New Zealand, I discovered that just isn't true. 3 years in New Zealand cured me of this stupidity that I had. And it cured me in a way that I would never, ever make that mistake again. The second malady that I have suffered from was the concept that love was the single most important thing in the universe. The most important thing, the most precious thing, the most special thing that you could have, that love conquered all. Now, I still believe that love of your children, love of your pets is possible and can exist. Love for your parents, perhaps. But now, here in Prague, I have been forever cured of that horrible, terrible misconception, and I will never make that same mistake ever again. And again, I'm not looking for sympathy. I'm looking to use this experience as an example for you. Hopefully, it will help you. Now, I came to Europe because I'm basically just a guy, and a man, and we're frankly simple creatures. When the old witch told me that I would meet the true loves of my life in Europe, and that I would find my true career in Europe, I, in typical male fashion, believed that I knew exactly what she was talking about, and I asked no questions. That's not good. Now, if I had bothered to ask questions, the old witch, Alice, would have answered me openly and honestly. But I did not do that. That is another mistake I will never make again. And we'll go into that in a minute. But at the time, when I was in New Zealand and being tortured in ways I just really couldn't imagine, I was writing to 9 breathtakingly beautiful, young, sensuous, and very happy girls in Ukraine who were distantly related to me through my great aunt Priscilla, who had moved from the States to Ukraine back in the 1940s. She married a man, and she went back to Eastern Europe with him. I'm guessing that in the 1940s, Eastern Europe was slightly different than the ones that we are told about today. So anyway, these 9 beautifully gorgeous, truly firm and happy girls wanted nothing more than to escape from Ukraine and live with me in the West. Sounds like a plan to me. Now, foolish male that I am, I assumed that old Alice, the old witch, was talking about one or more of these girls being the true loves of my life. Well, of course, she wasn't. I also assumed that the old witch meant that I would find yet another corporate job in Europe, which is all I wanted. I didn't want this, talking to you. I just wanted a corporate job. I know what's coming, and with 5, 6, 7, 800 pounds a day coming in, say working in London, I could easily have made arrangements for myself and my little family to survive and be happy. And with that money I could fly to visit, to love, and to bring out with me each of these girls over time and create, as I said, a little family here in Europe for us. Oh no. Old Alice had other plans, as witches, angels, demons, and gods so often do, that have nothing to do with what we want or think we want. No. The true loves of my life were right here in Prague. One of them was actually my true soulmate. We are, 2 parts of the same whole. I could hear her thoughts, feel her emotions, and she could hear my thoughts and feel my emotions. In that respect, she's far more powerful than I am, and even now that I have turned or tuned my awareness of her down to nothing. She, on the other hand, can still hear all of my thoughts, feel all of my emotions, and she knows whenever another woman even comes anywhere near me. The problem is, and of course the old witch did not offer this up to me, is that the true loves of my life, one of whom is my soulmate, want nothing to do with me. So since I arrived in Europe 10 months ago, my soulmate has done nothing but play games with me, very evil tricks, and put on a whole series of truly nasty little dramas, I'm not even sure what to call them, little stage shows for my benefit. It is true that she puts on shows for everybody, because her entire life is a series of lies. So depending on who's in the room, she puts on a different show. I can see that quite clearly now. But with me, apparently the goal was to hurt me so badly that I would never recover. And yet, she still could not stand the fact that I would be with any other women besides her. So in a nutshell, she's living a lie, hurting herself, hurting those who love her. Why? Just to get even with her father. The woman's 35 years old. It's time to, move on from blaming daddy. I could go on, but frankly, this is her personal life and it's her own, and now it's none of my business, even though 50% of the time she would desperately cling to me and add me into her life, and the other 50% of the time she would shove me out of her life quite violently. And for entertainment, she would occasionally pull out a virtual knife and stab me in my guts just to see the reaction. But soon now, I will be leaving Europe for a while, and it's unlikely that she and I will ever see or speak to each other again. I had thought, more than a week ago now, that we had had a breakthrough, that she had moved beyond the need to hurt me, the need to play games with me. And I had tried everything. I tried to be patient, I tried to be understanding, I tried to be reasonable. Nothing ever worked. The games had to continue. And just 2 days ago, when I had believed that her need to play games with me had been over, that she had expressed her true feelings for me, I said, oh, thank God. The games are over. 2 days ago, I was proved wrong. In that instant, in that very moment when she struck out at me yet again, something inside of me died. It didn't go screaming.